right. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of The Author Speaks, where we introduce you to authors from all across the globe. Today, we have some amazing authors for you today. Um, I'm not going to say much because they are going to tell you their stories. But what I want to share this month, we're featuring authors who have written biographies or memoirs. And I haven't read all the books, but I can say that you are going to want to buy one of these books when this is all over. So, we're featuring biographies and memoirs this month. All right. So, I'm trying to get back into it. We took a little break, a little hiatus, and it's like every time you take a break and you try to come back, you get a little rusty. So, we're going to shake it off and we're going to get ourselves together. But before I do, I just want to remind you that our annual Independent Authors Book Expo has been scheduled because I know a lot of people are asking about it. So, our ninth annual, yes, people, our ninth annual Independent Authors Book Expo will be held on Saturday, August 6th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Linden Public Library in Linden. And we're partnering with the City of Linden and the Linden Public Library. So we're so excited. It's going to be an outdoor in-person event, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've already started registering authors. So if you're an author and you would like to be a part of this expo, please go to our website at www.iabx.org. Let's give you that. Our website at iabx.org. And it's right on the homepage. So just go on and register. You don't want to miss it. And we have limited registration. We have early bird registration and we have limited registration. So definitely don't miss out. All right. So without further ado, we have, we're going to introduce our authors. So first, we have Miss Chandrika Faye. Chandrika, can you introduce yourself? Say hello to the wonderful people out there.
Hello to the wonderful people out there. Good to see you, Renee. Good to meet you. I'm grateful to you as the visionary of this platform and this opportunity. So thank you so much.
You're
Um,
welcome.
and hello to Loyal and our other author. I can't think of her name. Miss
Jacqueline.
Miss
Yeah.
Jacqueline. Yes.
Yes.
Glad to share this platform and this opportunity tonight with them. My last name is pronounced Fee, so it is
Fee.
Chandrika. Yes, it is Chandrika Fee. Sounds like Fee. I am the author of the best-selling book Lord, I Don't Want to Die a Christian: My
Woo.
Journal and Journey to Freedom. Yes, and so yeah, I am ordained. I have a degree in biblical studies and had an opportunity to go live in China after receiving those certificates and that experience in China changed my life, and it is a major part of the reason I wrote this book.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So our next author is Miss Jacqueline Walker. Welcome, Jackie.
Hello, Renee. Great to see you again. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
thank you for being here. And where are you coming to us from, Jackie? I wanted to ask you that as well.
I'm actually in Bowie, Maryland right now in the U.S.
Oh, wonderful. And
Yes.
Chandrika?
I am actually living in Columbus, Georgia, from Oklahoma City.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right, excellent. You see, listen, it doesn't matter where you are. This is the COVID, the blessing and the curse. Because even though we're far apart, we can still be together. So
Right.
we're using the platforms that we have to do that. All right. But last but not least, and he's rounding out the square really nicely, Mr. Loyal Wilson. Welcome, Loyal.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I am in Orlando, Florida, so
Woo!
I'm
Sunny
loving.
That's
Florida.
great.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have been living and working in Minnesota, so I thank God for the opportunity to retire to Florida. All right.
Ooh,
Did he use the R word?
I know. I know.
You know
Well,
what?
yes.
Let me rethink this thing here. I'm going to have to drop Loyal out of this. It's all good. It is a blessing to be able to work and retire and enjoy
Right.
that retirement because some people don't even get that opportunity. So, blessings to
Exactly.
you, Loyal, for being able to work and work hard, I'm sure, and be able to retire and enjoy the fruits of your labor. So,
Thank you.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. So, let's get into it because they didn't come to hear me yabber yabber along. The authors want to hear about you guys, what you have to say. I know Chandrika, I'm going to start with you because you kind of started with your story a little bit. So just give us a little bit about yourself. You mentioned quite a little bit. I was intrigued by your stay in China. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go and live in China after getting my degree in biblical studies and receiving my minister's license. So I went to China as a missionary or to do missions work along with teaching. I went to China to change China, and China changed me.
Oh wow.
I'm crazy about and believe in God, but after living abroad for 2 years, my perspective and perception of God and people expanded.
Okay.
And I tried to bring that expansion back to Western religious practice, and it would not fit. I could not
Mm,
breathe. I felt I felt like I was suffocating, and so I just had this newfound curiosity. I say in the book that my curiosity inhaled in China and exhaled in the States. Uh,
mm.
and
Interesting.
so when I felt like I couldn't breathe, I took my perspective and perception and as it had broadened, I took it outside. And I became a cyclist. I became a triathlete. I loved to hike. And so, it helped me to kind of have a more international experience here at
Mm,
home by surrounding myself with people I've never met. And my circle is now much more diverse.
okay.
So yeah, that's a little bit of my story. Again, that curiosity, it sent me outside, but it also made me uh, ask questions of the things Christianity taught me. And I
Mm, okay.
thought that it would be helpful to document my questions and curiosity and my resolves for those who would come after me.
Okay. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jackie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
sure. We'll talk about the international experience. I was born in Jamaica.
Whoop,
Ra-
whoop.
yes. Raised in Washington, D.C. I went to college in New York at Hofstra University. I now live in Bowie, Maryland, as I said. I'm a certified professional technical communicator. So by day, my 9 to 5 is a documentation manager, but I am a self published author and a motivational blogger. And my book, which is the memoir, as you said, is one of a story of overcoming and perseverance. And it chronicles a period in life. Is the title of the book is A Season of Disruption, and it chronicles a period in the life of my family when a tragedy triggered a complete change of life for us all, and
Mm,
as well as separation. And
okay.
so it takes you through a journey of a mother separated from her children and how they go through that separation, the obstacles that they come across, and the work to overcome and persevere. And my hope is really to inspire others.
Okay.
One, I originally started out writing this book really to leave a legacy for the other generations in my family, so they understood my mother's journey and then the journey of my generation. And from there it just got bigger and bigger to where it really turned into inspiring people regardless of what their journey is, to say, we all hit a season, we all can hit a bad season. And that's why the title of the book is A Season of Disruption. You can hit that bad season, but persevere, you can overcome. It is only a season, and it is only one disruption.
Okay. Okay.
That's great.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Yeah. And whoop whoop, Miss Jamaica. It's something with Jamaicans. I don't care where you go. Believe me, you could be in church, and I'm in church, and we have guests coming in, and they hear from they go woo. Whoop, whoop, all kinds of stuff
Boop,
going.
boop, boop, boop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So,
What,
pardon
what,
my,
to,
yes, as
what
you
to
all
go
know,
on? What to go
yes,
on?
as you all know, I'm from Jamaica, born and raised. So we have to connect with our fellow Jamaicans. So yes.
Yeah.
All right, let me get back to the program. So Loyal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I wrote a memoir. Uh, it's about my journey. I started off working on the line in a factory at Ford Motor Company. And when I ended my career, I was the executive vice president and chief compliance officer of the seventh largest investment firm in the country.
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
So I
Wonderful.
went a long ways. And during my career, I put about 30 people in prison for stealing millions of dollars from
Oh,
clients.
Ooh.
oh wow.
So what I do is I talk about my travel going up to the firm. I was
Mhm.
the first Black officer in the 157-year history of the company.
Wow.
And it was rough going through. So
I
I
I'm
bet.
sure.
teach people
Yes.
about going through corporate America. I teach
Mm-hmm.
people not about investments, but how to protect yourself.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
99% of the people never knew their money was missing until
Mm.
I knocked on their front door.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. And that's interesting, you brought 2 points, but in terms of like your investments, because what I have a master's degree in finance and actuarial science, and my finance teacher always said, set it and forget it. He said, if
Mm-hmm.
you watch it every day, you're gonna have a heart attack because the market is doing this,
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes we set it and forget it, not only because it's too much to watch, but sometimes you don't really understand your
Yeah.
Mm.
investments. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's not so much that you don't want to, you just don't. If you see it, you're like, I don't really know what's going on. So
Mhm.
you kind of step away from it. It's only when it starts to do this steep decline,
Right.
We understand that.
Uh-huh.
you're like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
something. Let me
Yeah.
check this out. So thank
Uh-huh.
you, Loyal, for keeping people abreast of what's
Oh
going on,
yeah.
because
Right.
especially now there's so much fraud
Yes.
and people losing in the midst of everything else that we're losing. So that's a huge hit to individuals. So definitely thank you for that. And I want to ask, I know Jackie just mentioned a little bit, but what does the title of your book mean? How did you arrive at that title? you know what inspired you outside of the book? What inspired you to title your book the way you did? Because you have some really interesting titles there.
I'll go. I'll say that as I was coming back again from China, I was trying to go back to what I grew up in. I grew up in Christianity, and I grew up in the subculture of Christianity called Black church.
Mm,
And so I was trying to go back to that. And when I left the States to go, I was a worship leader. I was a minister of outreach. I had been the
Mm.
pastor of music and arts. So I was raised in what is called Pentecostal. That is a
Mhm.
day or a festival in Jewish culture, but we, the Black church has taken that name on as a part of their expression or a movement.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I was trying to go back to that, and I was really struggling. I was experiencing culture shock for the
mm,
first time, so that was a struggle. And again, trying to fit what I then or was presently in that moment discovering that my perspective of God had expanded, my perspective of people had expanded, and so um, between that and uh, Barack Obama being nominated to be president, and our uh, white evangelical brothers and sisters, particularly those of great influence,
mhm,
were making it known that they had a problem with having a Black president.
mm,
And so, in short, I was watching the news. I saw a pastor invite his young elementary grandson to the stage to sing a racist song about having a black president.
Oh wow, wow.
Just remember sitting on my couch in my apartment, and I couldn't take it anymore. I turned my TV off,
Mm.
walked over to my front door to kind of pick up some shoes. To start, I was going to clean up. So bent down to pick up some shoes, and when I stood, I literally exhaled, "Lord, I don't want to die a Christian,"
Oh wow.
and was like, "Whoa," you know,
Yes, that's your book title. Lord, I
right?
don't. When I saw the title, I was like, I need to hear her story. I
Yeah, yeah.
need to hear her story because this is, you know, as a Christian, it's like what?
Right, right, right.
But
And, and
yeah,
remember, I always want people to include the Lord. A lot of times our Christians friends and brothers and sisters, they only see, "I don't want to die a Christian." No, I said this in my relationship to God. This was a prayer. And so, I am very submitted to this notion that is God, this notion of a greater authority. But that was my authentic, sincere prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of my book is about shedding Christianity to find my authentic self. How did
mm,
God create me to be? And
okay.
so, I when I took one step forward, with the shoes in my hand, having excelled, that title, I said, "That's a book." And I
Mm,
took another step forward and said, "I wasn't going to write a book. It's never a dream, a plan, or anything." And so I just felt like it was an assignment from God to write it. And my next step was to pray about what was supposed to be in it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it
wonderful.
really is a journal. It's dated. Each entry is dated for
Okay.
when I was revisiting things that I believe or things that I had been taught. And I write out questions. I write out my resolve. Some of them is just questions. And I
Right,
reader to figure out my resolve.
on their
It
own. Yeah.
is a publishing of my journal.
Okay. All right, wonderful. I like the, sometimes your title can like people like, oh no, no, mm-mm. And then there are other people like, no, I would like to see what's in
Mhm,
Right,
the book,
right.
So
mhm.
that's one of those that you grab.
Yes.
Um, Loyal, your book was what's your title?
The King of No, a financial firefighter.
Come
Mm,
on.
all
Yes.
right.
So if you can imagine me in an all-white company,
Mm.
and every time an investment advisor or a stockbroker or a life insurance agent came to me with something creative, I was always saying, "No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that."
Right.
So they nicknamed me the King of No.
Oh, wow.
So you brought your title to the book.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I
and,
get it.
and
That's
people
cool.
would
I like
always
that.
ask me, say, "Well, lawyer, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I put out financial fires. That's what I do."
Wow.
Yeah.
People do, sometimes like in the back of my book it says, Tony, who was an investment advisor, the client trusted him and loved him like he was his son. He did
Wow.
everything from her, from making home repairs, filing her taxes, putting in a sprinkler system. But she never knew until I knocked on the door and told her that all her money was gone. She
Oh
had
wow.
nothing.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow.
He even sent her a check every month with a
wow.
statement. Now, it was a fake statement, but he sent her a check every month.
Wow. That's terrible.
And so you've heard of people doing things, but I tell how to protect yourself, how to spot
Right.
those problems, who to call if you think you have a problem, and even Reagan said, "Trust but verify."
Mhm, mhm.
Trust but verify.
Verify.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. I
Even
like
if
that.
you get a
Trust,
statement and it
verify.
looks good, verify it.
Mhm.
So that's what I talk about.
And Miss Jackie.
Yes.
Yes. What I will add to what I said before about the book is that book title, A Season of Disruption. that really, that for me was that title came from my outcome of actually writing the book. I knew what I was writing about. I knew what I wanted to tell people about, overcoming the perseverance and the story to show them the struggle and going through it. But once I wrote the book and had it full, it's like it came to me that, to look around me, look at my life, look at my family's life, each of my siblings' life, and look how far we have come. And that time that seemed really so hard when it was there was just merely a season, just a small disruption in our lives that didn't take us under, that didn't take us down. And so that's why I said it's just a season, and it's a season of disruption. We got through it. So that was really how I came to the title.
Wow. And that's so important, because a lot of the times we get the feeling that things are just so permanent. When you're going through something, it feels so permanent. It just feels like it is never going to end. It's just sitting on you, and it just weighing you down. But I like the where you say it's a season of disruption, because everything is seasonal. From the summer to winter to fall is seasonal. So I like that title for that book, a season of disruption. And I know we have a few people looking on. So if you're here, just let us know your city and states. If you have any questions for the authors, please drop them in your chat wherever. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, just drop it in the chat. We will post it and let them know that we'll share the questions with them. So, who is your books? Who is your book intended for? Who is your intended audience?
Well, okay, go ahead. I'm trying not to go first all the time.
That's why I jumped in to help you out.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's people that are stuck in a position. When I used to work at Ford Motor Company on the line in the factory, every day I used to say, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to do something different. I want to move. I want to move on. I want to make a difference. I want to change things. And all my life, I wanted to protect people. And I fell into a job at the Pacific Stock Exchange in Los Angeles, where I went to school at UCLA. And I worked for Merrill Lynch in Beverly Hills. I was their first Black broker in the Beverly Hills office. And my book is for people looking to move, to make a change, and to protect themselves. Because you never know. You just never know. You can, your brother could be your investment advisor, but you don't know. And people say, lawyer, I got my statement. It looks good. I'm making all kind of money. But sometimes that statement can be fake. It can be false. Trust but verify. And I teach people how to do that.
Oh, got it for you. Trust but verify. And I want you to drop some. You said trust but verify, but can you tell us maybe like 2 or 3 things that they can just a regular, if you don't know stocks and that kind of thing, give us maybe 1 or 2 tips. And I'm throwing this at you at the last minute. So if you want to come back at me. But
what are ways that we can verify?
Yes, like for somebody who doesn't know.
Yes.
The first thing you should do is see what's going on in the industry. You can just read that in the news. For example, these clients that this guy had took advantage of was getting 9.5% tax-free. Now you should know that's like a fairy tale, right?
Oh,
you should know that you should only be getting 1.5% or 2%. That's the first thing. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. That is the very first thing you should always look at. And you can look that up on the news. You can look it up anywhere, and they'll tell you interest rates right now is at 1%, 1.5% on a treasury bond. If you get 9%, something is wrong.
Lose those eyebrows.
That's right. That's right. Too good to be true.
Yes.
And every time you get a statement, if your broker or your life insurance agent send you out a statement that says, hey, I'm going to summarize everything in the statement for you so you don't have to look at these 5 or 6 different statements. No, don't do that. Okay. Every statement should not the main statement should come from the broker dealer, not
Okay.
from the rep itself, himself
Mm,
or herself.
okay.
Okay, that's how you verify. There's always an audited statement. So if your rep tells you, look, I know you being inundated with 5 or 6 different statements, I'll summarize for you and send you on a statement. No, thank
No.
you. Send me the real statement.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me muddle through it for a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
We'll muddle through it. Yes. Okay. All right. I like those tips.
Me
Trust
too.
but verify.
Yes.
And just easy, simple tips. You don't have
yeah,
to be, know everything, but just
Right.
once, just keep asking questions, because that's really what it is. When you stop asking questions, that's when you stop getting the answers, and then people just do whatever they want to do with your money and your stuff. So keep asking
exactly.
questions.
That's
Well,
right.
you talking good now. Now you didn't say something. You said more than you meant to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking about, the don't stop asking questions. I was talking to someone yesterday about my book and my journey, and how we keep sending people to space, and how humanity's fascination for going to the moon, going to space, has not been silenced. We
Mm,
still are so curious about that, despite all of the documentation,
yes. Yes.
whether that
Yeah.
be film, whether that be, books, memoirs,
Yeah.
autobiographies, despite all of the documentation about it all, whether it be good, bad, or dangerous, or sad, even,
Mm-hmm.
we still are so curious about space. And so I
Yeah.
was talking about the Bible, and about how we stop there at that the piece of documentation. That's what it is. It's a document, and but we don't ask questions beyond that. And so, when you said don't stop asking questions, we stop asking questions as it relates to God, and how the earth and the world and people work in it, because because we have this big document. And I've read it all. I've read front to back, and I still am curious, just as
Mhm.
much as we are curious
Mhm.
about what's up above the clouds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't stop asking questions.
No,
I
absolutely.
like
And
that.
Yeah.
yeah, and one of the things that I realize is that you know, again, the same thing, we're gonna go back. We have to go back to this. I like it. Trust but verify.
Yeah. Right.
So there's a lot of things that someone says to you, you know, the sky is blue. I trust that the sky is blue because I can see it. But I'm going to go out and I'm going to verify. I'm inside, and you say to me, the sky is red today. That doesn't sound right. This is a trustworthy source, but I need to go check for myself. And a lot of the times
Right.
I find that people don't, they just take everything at face value.
Right.
Sometimes my mom, she always says, you don't have to experience everything for yourself. Some people have already done it,
Right.
so you can just
Mm-hmm.
you,
Yeah,
you can just take
Mm-hmm.
their
Oh yes.
experience.
Oh yes.
But sometimes you just need to verify, and you check and make sure what's going on.
Right.
Right. So that's just trust but verify. Like, we're gonna rock that for the whole time,
Oh,
lawyer. Love it. Love it. Yeah, Jackie, what about you? What do you know,
Oh, well, I would say that there are a couple of segments that I would look at. I think overall, my book would be is appealing to anyone looking to read a piece that is encouraging and that helps them in dealing with challenges, or inspires them as they are going through, or give them an example of dealing with life issues and overcoming. But I'd also say that there's probably a sweet spot in there for women who, have unplanned had to become a leader, had to take a leadership role.
mhm,
So there's a sweet spot in there for women that, and also because of what the story is, it pays homage to, I think, generations of Caribbean women who have gone through a particular immigrant experience. And so there's
right.
like another sweet spot there as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I must add that my mom has your book, so she did read your book. I should ask her what she thought of the book before I came on my current situation with her. So we'll get back to that. But she did read your book
Okay.
at the book expo.
Thank you.
And just so a quick plug, because Jackie was at the last book expo, the eighth annual in Roselle, and
Yes.
we did. I got your poetry book as well. That was really good, and my mom got your Seasons of Disruption. So yeah, so we did buy a few of your books.
Thank you. And I hope to be back.
Yes, yes, looking forward to it. So, I want to find out from you because what was the hardest part about writing the book? Because you go through so much. What was the hardest part about writing?
um,
If who you
go,
asking?
go,
Anybody, just
Okay.
go ahead.
I didn't get to answer who my book was for, so
Oh yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I don't mind if I can answer that. It is, I would say my book is particularly, I have an entry in my book called For an Unborn Generation. I think that generations coming after us are more curious and more courageous to ask questions. And I think we all probably can say we grew up not being able to ask questions. The theme is don't question God, you know. And so
Perseverance.
we just took what we were taught, said yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and we believed it. And so my book is mainly for generations that are not here yet. I think the generation that the millennials are curious, but if they are curious and they're asking questions and not settling for the answers we're giving them, their kids are going to be they're going to be twice as curious and twice as courageous, and twice as discontented with what religion has taught us. And so I want them to know that it's okay, that they are not by themselves, that there is someone who was raised in this thing, born in Christianity, born into it, who has a degree, who has tons of ministry experience, who carries a minister's license and ordination, and yet I still have questions. So that's mainly who my book is for. Anybody can read it. It doesn't have to be a Christian. It can be a Jew, a Muslim, a Islamic. I don't, a Sikh. It doesn't matter. But my heart is for young people to come. The second question was,
What was the hardest part about writing the book?
gosh, coming to some of the realizations, or maybe not even some of the realizations, um, hearing some of the questions based on doctrinal teachings that Christianity taught us. And again, this is my own personal private relationship with God. I'm not having a bunch of conversations. A lot of my book, I think I have 3 entries where I include questions of other people raised the same way. But the rest of it is all me. And so I remember having a question that ended up being titled in the book, A Need, a Tree, and a Choice. And I asked God, did he or it, she, that spirit, if it had a need? And I won't tell why I asked that question, but the question, what the question is based on, was painful. I remember laying on my sofa chase in fetal position because
Wow.
I couldn't understand why I hadn't heard this question anywhere else. And I just thought, me, I'm gonna ask this question, you
Wow.
know. And I called a mentor friend of mine to make sure I understood doctrine, this particular segment of doctrine as it had been taught to us.
Okay.
She is ordained as well, went to ministry school, educator, raised in the same Pentecostal era, if you will, or movement. And she said, you're hearing it right. You understand it as it was taught to us. I was, well, why do I have to ask this question? And she was like, because it was given to you to ask. You're no fun. It was like, that didn't make me feel any better. So I hang up the phone and I press into that question again, and I finish writing that entry. It's called A Need, a Tree, and a Choice.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that's interesting because a lot of the times we ask questions and we may not necessarily get the answer right away,
Mm-hmm,
but I think reading, whether you read the Bible, you have to pray for a discerning spirit,
Mm-hmm.
because we are reading with human eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that you read is not going to just come to you. It's just not going to be like, oh, the rock is it's something. It's not just like the sky is blue. Sometimes there's something else, a deeper meaning that we haven't grasped or we're not able to grasp. So whenever you read the Bible, you ask for that discerning spirit. And I think it's okay to ask God questions. I think He wants us to ask Him questions. I think it's just we just to be but we have to wait for the answer,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes it's not going to come right away, but he will give you the answer. I forget what it was. Um my pastor said, he had said to me, read the Bible. Sometimes you may not even understand what you're reading. Read
Mm-hmm.
it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading, you read, and I'm reading, and then I want to say it's like a couple years, maybe 3-4 years later, something was like, oh, okay. Now I understood what I read, because I don't know what I do. I'm just reading, but I just
Yeah,
didn't get it.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
it literally just popped into my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know
Yes.
what triggered it, and the answer just came to me.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely keep asking those questions, because it's
Right.
important. You
Right.
know, and I can attest to what you were saying about my lighting is just changing. You see me getting darker.
Mm-hmm.
um, you when you talk about not being able to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
because we grew up in a time where, because I said so,
Yeah.
because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't
Yeah.
ask me anything, because
Right.
and what I realize is that that's what they were told, our parents
Mm-hmm.
or elders, and they're
Yeah.
telling us they couldn't
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. So now they just took whatever they got, and now they're passing it on to you.
You're
Right.
But
right.
we're in a curious generation, and
Right.
Hmm.
that it, because I said so, doesn't work
It
anymore.
doesn't work. Nope.
So I'm
Hmm.
finding that I explain things to my children. So instead of saying, sometimes I use it. I'm going to be honest, because I said so. Don't ask me anything. My mom. But I really try to explain,
Mm-hmm.
why am I telling you to do something? And I laid out on the table, I literally laid the cards out on the table and say, okay, this is why I'm saying this to you. If you go left, this is what will happen. If you go right, this is what will happen. So I'm laying it out, and it's for you to choose, because we all have choice. We have free will. So
Right.
you choose what you want to do. So, definitely keep asking questions.
Yeah.
And Loya, what was the hardest part for you writing your book? Mister,
It's a
King
little
of
bit
Dough?
different. Well, the hardest part for me is because all the stories are true. So
Mm.
some of the people are well known
Mm.
celebrities.
Ooh,
Some of the people are very high profile people. So I had to
okay.
change the names of people, the states, the cities. And
Wow.
so sometimes I got confused. So we talking, Colonel in the United States Air Force. We talking about the Secretary of HUD under Clinton. We
Mm.
talking about the mayor of San Antonio. That
Wow.
there's some high profile people, and in order to not have to go to them and get their approval, I had to change the names, change the
Yeah.
places, but all the stories are true. So that was the hardest part for me,
Yeah.
trying to
Okay.
protect myself, not to get
Yes.
sued. Right?
Yes.
Yes. Because that's important.
Oh,
Especially when you're doing
definitely.
memoirs and biography.
Yeah. Hmm.
You have to protect not only yourself and the individuals you're writing about, but yourself, because you can get in trouble for some of those things.
Right.
Yes, I
Libel
Right.
and
spent
all of that stuff. So yeah.
countless hours talking to the attorneys at work. Okay, how can I protect myself? And they told me exactly what to do, what not to say. I can tell my stories, but I
Right.
just had to change the names. So that was
Okay.
Mm.
the hardest part for me.
Wow.
Okay. What about you, Jackie?
For me, it's a memoir, and as I said, it was a life story. So really, having to relive, because I had to like relive those events in my
Hmm.
mind to really be able to put it down.
Yeah.
And going back, that many years, I had to go back some 50 years to relive and think about, where I am now and relive what I dealt with or what I saw others and saw others experience as a child to
Mm,
now, and now kind of dredge all that up and put it
yeah,
down. So
yeah,
that was the hardest part.
Mm.
yeah. Because that was one of the things that was in my mind too, because I know there is someone, she's writing a memoir now, and all the pain that is like you're living it twice, writing the book.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And some of
Mm-hmm.
it's very painful, or you had buried that so deep, you had almost
Right.
forgotten it. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you're like, I can't, I don't know. And this is my follow-up question. How long did it take you to write your book? Because memoirs and biographies, you're putting all of this, you're chronicling a
Mhm.
timeline, or if it's a memoir, it's a section. But how long did it take you to really put your book together?
For me, I think it was about, I'd say, and I'm still writing, by the way, because this is, I write in the book that I had been Christian longer than than I've lived. It's just so it's going to take me the rest of my life to unpack all of this, or revisit a lot of what we were taught. So for me, I would say I finally had to stop and start seeking publishing. I'd say about 13 years later, 13 years
Oh,
after I
wow.
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 Wow, that's a long
started.
time. That's a
Oh
long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
What about
For
you,
me, it
Jack?
was only a
Oh,
couple of
go ahead.
years
Oh,
because all I had to do was sit back and remember different stories and different events.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with, you know, investment advisors and so forth, they all have to have a face-to-face meeting with a compliance officer on a yearly basis. So for years, I traveled around the country telling these stories, and they say, "Lawyer, we just love your stories." So I said, "Well, okay. When I retire, I'm gonna put a book together of all the
That's
stories."
powerful.
So
Wow.
only a couple of years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Jackie, how about you?
And for me, for a number of years, I would write down little pieces of the story, or I would tell, maybe a family member, like from another generation, like one of my nieces and nephews, pieces of the story. And I
Mhm.
would, like I said, write down about it. But I never really made a full book about it. And then, but that went on for, gosh, no, it could be more than 10 years that went on. And then um, in 2020, I sat down and said, okay, I really wanted to do that because 2020 was actually officially the 50-year anniversary of that time period.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, I really want to take all this now and just chronicle the story from beginning to end. And so writing it down, it kind of took me about, I say, a 3-month period to really
Oh,
put
wow.
it down on paper.
Mm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that's really quick for, you must have been writing night and day, day and
I
night.
did pretty much, pretty much. I mean, it was
Right.
consumed because once I decided that I, wanted to do it, now I had to get it
Just
out.
throw
So
it
I
out.
just had to
Had to get
go
it out. Yes.
exactly, just fill it
Wow.
out.
Just get
Couldn't
it
have
out.
been me at all. Couldn't have
And
been me
we
at all.
just want to say hi to Kalita. She
Hey,
was just saying
Kalina.
great authors and great views. So thank you,
Hey
Kalita, for
there.
tuning in. And Kalita, if you're still on, just tell us where your city and state is. And anyone else who's listening at this time, tell us where your city and state is. So I know we're coming closer to the end, but one of the things, what did you learn about yourself when you were writing this book? That's a different one. What did you learn about yourself?
Well, for me, I learned, well, something I always knew. I wanted to protect people. That was my entire career, protecting people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said I wanted to, I was a financial firefighter. When I was young, I wanted to be a firefighter, but I
Mm.
was too
Ah,
short. I was too short. Don't laugh. I was too short.
I'm not laughing.
But this is different nowadays. But
But you
so
know
I
what,
wanted to
though?
protect people.
You put out different fires. You're still a
Yep.
Right.
firefighter.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like,
Yep.
it just circles right back to your book. You're a
Yep.
financial firefighter. So God didn't put you in the where you want. He didn't put you out physical fires. You're putting out other fires. So
That's right. That's
we're
right.
still, you're an honorary firefighter, Loyal. How about
Okay. Thank you.
that? Okay. All right. All right. Oh, oh, okay. sorry, Jackie, tell me a little bit about what you learned about yourself when you were writing.
Well, what I learned really is part of what I knew is that pretty much I'm the type of person that stays protected, stays in control. But in writing this book, it really revealed to me that there is strength and power in being vulnerable, and
Mhm.
and in sharing information and disappointments and losses, that that's okay because it can help others. So it really helped me, I think, to become more open and more vulnerable.
That's beautiful.
Oh, that vulnerability is real.
It is.
Yes.
Hmm.
It is.
Yes, yes. Chandrika?
What I learned about myself is that I learned about myself, if that makes sense. And so,
Hmm.
so a lot of the book is about kind of peeling back the religious coat, if you will, the religious equipment, and or what I call in my book fig leaves, and being able to see myself, if you will, as I believe God sees me.
Mm,
Who is the me that God saw? I think I know Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, the writer says that before he was in his mother's womb, God knew him. And so I
Hmm.
asked the question, who is the me that God knew? And so my book is about trying to find that person. So I revisit again the things Christianity taught me and come to different resolves or unpopular resolves, only to then see my authentic self, only to peel back the layers so that my authentic self can be revealed to me. You know what I mean? And so that the journey has been, as I've written, has been to discover my authentic self apart from Christianity, if that makes sense.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And just for our viewers, I am broadcasting live from Montego Bay, Jamaica. I'm overlooking the airport, so if you see me go mute for a minute, it's because a plane is taking off. So the plane just left.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely. I get that. I get that. Sometimes you do something to discover yourself.
Yes.
And it's good to do that because I think a lot of people walk around not knowing who they are, and
Hmm.
because of that, they're like sponges. They soak up other people's energies and they
Hmm.
become someone else. And
That's
because
so
of
good.
that, you're like, we're not twins.
Right.
Right.
You're
We're
your
not.
own
We're
person.
not the same.
We're not the same. So I
Yeah.
can definitely appreciate you getting to know yourself and know who you are and appreciate
Yes.
the uniqueness of
That's it. That's it.
me.
That's
Hmm.
Yeah,
that is me.
yeah,
Who is the expression of God in the earth called Chandrika?
yeah,
Um,
exactly,
and
exactly,
so
exactly.
I ain't quite sure that has anything to do with Christianity. So I had to find out who that was.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I just want to pop up here, Mr. Cadmus Hall. He says, "Thank you for sharing your experiences." And he's from Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Sick.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, Cadmus. Thank you so much.
Nice
And
pro.
if you have any questions for our authors, please drop them in the chat. We're winding down, but we still have a few questions we can ask them. And I want to ask you because what's your advice for an aspiring author who wants to write a memoir, not just write a book, but write a memoir? What kind of advice would you give them?
I think completing it is in and of itself a muscle that has been developed, if you will, to show up consistently, to write this book, whether it takes 3 months, whether it takes a few years or 13. It is a building of a muscle. When you get to that place of completeness, it spills out into every other area. So of your life, so everything has to be complete, everything has to be finished, everything has to be done correctly or with excellence, whatever you put your hands on, whatever project you have,
Yes.
whatever you've been assigned to do, it's got to be completed. You have to do it right. And so you want that sense of finishing. And so my advice is to keep showing up no matter how long it takes
Mhm.
to get to the place of completion.
Yes, I like that. Keep showing up.
Keep showing up. Stay consistent. I didn't write mine in 3 months or 3 years. It's because I didn't show up every day,
Right.
consistently every day. There's lots of life happening. That was impossible. But it, didn't keep me from coming back or trying again the next day.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's a consistency piece. You have to
Yes.
be consistent. You just keep
Yes.
coming back, coming back. Life happens, but you don't let it happen to you. You have to be a part of that. You have to drive the bus. So if it knocks you down, you get back up and you keep going again because that's just what it is.
What I heard you say is you don't have to let it happen to you. You happen to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
let life happen to you. You
No.
happen
You
to
happen
life.
to,
Do
yeah.
it.
Put
You
Right.
that in the chat. That was
yeah. What about you? Jackie, loyal.
What I would say for an aspiring author is that, especially for a memoir, because a memoir, as you said, is usually a slice in time or something like that. So be clear on and circle around that lasting message that
Mhm.
you really want to get across, that you want to have resonate with your readers. And I'm with Chandrika. Take your time. Use your own time. Don't worry about how long it took someone else to get it done. As
Mhm.
long as you stay focused on, what is your lasting message that you want those readers to remember and to resonate with them, and focus on that and work through it. I think that'll get you through.
Yeah, and that is important because you know, um, you have an audience. Each book has an audience, but then when I read your book, what is it that you want me to take away from the book?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
are the other questions that you want me to ask, or what
Mm-hmm.
questions did you answer for me? So you're
Right.
either gonna have me asking more questions, or you're gonna answer some questions.
Mhm.
You're not gonna give it all, but you're gonna. What is
Yes.
your message in your book for your
Yes.
reader? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
what keeps them coming back for the next one. They're like, when are you writing again? What's
Mm-hmm.
that message? So I like that. What's your lasting message?
And for me, it was, what good is taking all your knowledge to the grave?
Ooh,
You gotta
ooh,
Ooh,
share it. You
great.
gotta put it out there.
Yes.
I've learned so much in my life. If I don't share it, then shame on me.
Mm.
yeah, love it. Share your knowledge. Absolutely, 100%. You're supposed to get to the grave beaten up and raggedy and empty in the hair, like, oh,
Yes.
oh, I got it all out. Next time.
That's right.
All raggedy and beat up. Share your knowledge. I love
Yes,
it.
that's
Keep
good.
showing up every day. And what is your message for your author, your readers? Love,
Mhm.
love, love. Those are some wonderful messages that as an author you can take with you and use for, when you're writing a book, and even just outside of memoirs.
Yes.
When you're writing, because writing is one of those things. You have to show up every day for your writing. And again, if something happens and you get knocked down, no problem, you come back up.
Mhm.
And then the other thing is, what's your message? Always, what is it that you're going to share with your reader? Because that's important. Because they, if they don't get your message, it's like, what did I just spent time reading this? What was it about? What was
Right.
the point? So
Right.
you have to do that. And the thing is, you share the information that you know. So he has been through investment for years, and you've been helping people, and now through your stories, you're now going to help other people.
Right.
So you're sharing your knowledge. Same thing for Chandrika. Same thing. Yeah, I'm going to call you Miss Fee. I'm gonna bite my tongue, and I'm not. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm bit and pinch your name or something. But Miss Fee, I'm gonna call you Miss Fee
That's
because
fine.
I've been making sure that I try to call people's name as it is, because
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
important. It's very important.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Um, so yes, and I know we're coming close to the end, so I want to ask you some simple questions. Pen and paper or the computer?
The computer.
Computer for me.
The
Yeah,
computer for me.
Yellow pad. So
yeah.
What?
Yeah, you and I, loyal. I
yeah.
have notebooks all over the place with my little stories and my
No.
bullet point here. Yeah, I'm a pen and paper kind of girl.
I'm
I
struggling.
don't.
I'm struggling with these book signings. Ugh, oh, it's hard. It's horrible.
It's good though because that's so funny. I do like. What is it about the computer or the pen and paper that you like? What is it that you why you're choosing one over the other?
Speed. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
when you're writing, it's important to take your time. Do I do that? No. But it's important to. It's important to take your time. I signed 10 books the other day and I could tell the difference from the time I started till the last one. I was like, oh, this
Oh,
is bad.
you're like, your fees like,
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
I use the yellow pad to put down the bold points.
yeah.
The the city or the person or whatever. And then when I got to start writing, I got a program that I could talk into and it types for me.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
this is
That
the
I
yellow pad.
love.
This is the
That's
yellow
right.
pad right here. Can you see it?
Yes,
Oh,
I
it's on
see
your
it.
phone. You're doing
Yes.
it on your phone.
You
Oh,
can
you
you
know
can
what I
do it.
did?
What?
Something similar. I did Google Voice to text or
Uh-huh.
text to voice or voice no
Yeah.
voice.
Yes.
So yeah, so I tried that because I was like, I was sitting there. I'm trying to get the story out. I talked into my laptop and I was like, oh, it's there. And then of course you go back and edit.
Mhm.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you do a lot on your phone? Do you find that you're working more on your phone now than you did before? Because you just showed me your
My
your
yellow pad.
your phone. Is that your phone or was that your
No,
iPad
no,
or something?
no, that was my phone, and there's a ink pad. They call it, but it looks like yellow paper with a line on it. It's an
Hmm.
app.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Mm-hmm.
it's a, I'm on everything right now. I mean, one just the other day, I had to come out of my bedroom and get my computer. When I looked up in my bed, my phone, my iPad, and my computer were all, you know, with, you
is it
know,
crazy, right?
yes, yes.
We're inundated with this all this
I
mechanical the
know.
technology, the
Technology.
phone, the because I have my phone, I have my Kindle, and I have my laptop. It's like I just want to stuff them somewhere sometimes. Like all these waves are coming, drive me crazy. But I get it, I get it. But for
Yeah.
me, I'm a pen and paper, but I go to the computer when I'm done. So
Yeah.
that my editing gets a little easier. And like I just mentioned, I usually go to I just started using the voice to text.
Yes.
So that
Mhm.
was fun.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed that. So that worked. And it's on Google, which Google was not my friend, but I'm getting more comfortable with it.
So was
And you
it?
can take it everywhere, you
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
know? So
Mm-hmm.
that's just a tip for other authors. If you put your stuff, if you have the Google Drive, still keep it on a flash drive or something.
Right.
But one of the things I do is I know I'm traveling. I can just go to my Google Drive and find what I'm working on, and it's automatically saved when I
Right.
Yes.
edit or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So that's
Yes.
the just a little tip for up and coming
Mm-hmm.
authors when you're doing your writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then now, before we wrap up, we want to let the people know where they can find your book because that's why we're here. We're here to sell some books. We want to
Okay.
see a little uptick in the sales. People say they
Amen.
saw your book here. So, Miss Fee, I'm going to just let you tell us where we can find your book. Tell us. Oh, not the right one. Well, let's go back. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about where we can get your book.
You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles. I think Books a Million and plenty of other places. Um, if you Google it, it'll tell you a lot of different places that the book is. That I have no idea who these people are. Um, oh, it's there. It's there. Who are these people? What is that? But the main three platforms are Books a Million, uh, obviously Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay, excellent. And tell us the title of your book again.
Lord, I don't want to die a Christian. My journal and journey to freedom.
All right. Thank you, Miss Fee.
Yeah.
And you please support our authors. It's very important. Again, they're sharing their knowledge with you, so we want you to support them and go out. And if they're in town, because we all our authors are in different cities and states, so definitely if you hear about them, go check them out, see what they're, go meet them in person. It's important.
Yeah.
This is good stuff we're doing here. So, Miss Jackie, tell us where
Yes,
we can
and
get the book.
similar to Chandrika, I'm on Amazon.com. It's on Books a Million. It's also on Barnes and Noble and a bunch of others. And I'll also say for those in the Caribbean, there's a new ebook Caribbean platform, digitalcanopy.com, and my book is now also available in ebook format on that platform.
And can they get your book if they go to your website?
They can go to my website and they can also order an autograph copy through my website.
Oh, I
Yes.
want, that's what we want, people, the autograph copy. So go to our website and get that book. And Miss, I'm gonna come back to you, Miss Fee, because we want to let them know where you are on social media. Are you on social media?
I absolutely am.
Okay, okay. So let's come back. We'll circle back to you and let them know so they can follow you.
Yes.
So, Jackie, you are on Facebook.
I am on Facebook at J Walker Pat, as you have here. I just recently joined Instagram, so I'm on Instagram at WBJ4872.
Oh Lord, we have to write that down. We have to write that down. Yeah, put it in the private chat so I can put it up there next time.
Okay.
And Mr. Loyal.
Well, you can go to Lawyer Wilson at yahoo.com, and like everyone else, it's at Amazon and Barnes and Noble, all those places like that. But you can go directly to me at Loyal Wilson at yahoo.com.
Okay, excellent. Are you on social media, Loyal?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
That's
what's your social media?
Loyal Wilson.
Okay. You know, it's one of those things where you I don't know if about you guys, but it's trying to keep up with all the social media
Mhm.
and the
Yes.
platforms and the postings and so I've just decided to pick one and work it really well. So I'm on Facebook, people. That's where I
Uh,
live. I have Instagram, but I live on Facebook. So I want to just share. I know this is um, Jackie's Instagram handle.
Right. This is my Instagram. Yeah, that's new.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's Jackie's Instagram handle, and we're gonna go right back to Miss Fee because she gave us. Just tell us where you're on.
I'm on Facebook. As you can see, chandrika.phea .fee. And I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. I am on TikTok. I don't know my TikTok handle. Um, but if you go to Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, I'm Chandrika D Feet on all of those.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
So we just want to thank our authors for joining us. We're at the top of the hour, and we just want to say thank you for being a part of our program, for tuning, for just sharing your thoughts and your knowledge with us, and sharing your stories because they're such powerful stories and they're such different and unique stories. This is I really like our mix of authors today because you each
Yes.
had a different story that you shared,
Yes.
and we're just really grateful that you wrote your book because you shared your knowledge because that was important. And we want to trust
But
but verify.
Right.
Okay. And, you know, we're our message that we're sharing with our authors, and we're showing up every day,
amen.
not just as authors, but just as human beings.
That's
Just
good.
show up every day. It is so
That's good.
important because we all matter. You know, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. We all matter. So keep showing up every day. Whether even if you're not an author and you are you drive the bus, you work wherever you work, retail, government, wherever, you just show up every day and do the best
Right.
that you can with what you
Can.
have because it is so important. We have this one little life that we're living and we need to live it the best that we
That we
can.
can.
And like I said before, we want to leave here beat up and raggedy. We want to drop everything when we get to wherever we're going. We're like, whew, I have lived. I am glad that I had my time on earth. So, and someone else can say, well done, you did a good job.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
everybody can see. So we just want to thank you. And before we go, if we have any authors tuning in, or you watch the show after, and you're interested in being a part of or programming, we have our website is iabx.org. Each month we have a different genre, so you can go on and select your genre. We have maybe one or two slots left for the upcoming months. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I told you I'm traveling, so I don't have all that details in front of me. But I just want to say thank you for being here. And I just want to say one more thing. Again, just a reminder about the ninth annual Independent Authors Book Expo. It's free to the public. Authors, get in right now and get your make sure you register at iabx.org. We have a few slots this year because of COVID. Still here, yes, unfortunately,
Mhm.
but we're going to expand. We're going to be outdoors and it's going to be wonderful. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Thank you.
here,
Thank you.
and we hope to see each other soon. And take care, and
Yes.
all the best to you as you share your story with others. May you have increasing success with your books,
Thank
and
you.
want to see a little uptick. If you're ever in Jersey, come and see me.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right.
All
Definitely.
right. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care,
Bye.
all. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.